I think you talked a little bit about it, but where does the farmer get started with RAM technology, right? If a guy that's in corn, looking at nitrogen, we talk about RDXN. If a guy that's in apples is looking at a solution, like how do I get started? What's the easy button?
I think you asked the question. So number one, either through this conversation or other conversations we can have to just simply understand redox active molecules, redox reactions. And I don't mean understand chemistry. I simply need to understand, everybody understands positive and negative charge, and everybody understands balance. If you can understand those two things and understand that our fertility, particularly with the use of nitrogen, has created imbalance in the plant and the plant has to work to balance that out, then the next question should be, okay, what material can I add to my fertilizer to make it more efficient so I can actually use less fertilizer, not zero fertilizer, but a small amount less fertilizer so the system doesn't become overcharged or imbalanced, and move those molecules through the system easier. That's the question you have to ask is, what products can I add? And those products should be focused on redox active molecules because we're dealing with charge. I'm not knocking the seaweeds of the world. I'm not knocking I'm not knocking what's present in the market. What I'm saying is we've taken what's present in the market and moved it to a whole nother lane. And that lane is we are dealing with charge balance, not just with organic molecules. We help the plant balance charge. That's the focus of every extraction that we do, every fractionation that we do, every additive that we have to our material focuses on charge balance. So how do you get started in that? That's the conversation you have to have with whoever you're buying your fertilizer from is, can you add to my fertilizer a molecule that helps the plant with plant charge balance?
Which by the answer to that, it should be every time yes, but
yes.
You have to find redox
Yes.
active molecules, which just so happens, right? We're in the business.
Correct.
Shameless plug here, Darin, on that same thing. If I talk about row crop guys, what we've seen this year, we can reduce quite a bit on our fertility costs, especially with nitrogen. So when we look at, on average this year, we got a 38-pound reduction with a 5-bushel lift using a product called RDXN. Why? Low use rate, RDXN has RAM technology. We balance that charge. We can help metabolize nitrogen and make it more plant available. And that's really what it is. How do you make more nutrients plant available? Utilizing RAM technology.
I just want to make sure this point is understood because there's so many companies that make claims about fertilizer reduction and they have no clue how their product does that. We know. We have literally followed the gene sequencing in plants and we understand exactly at what point our product does what, okay? Here's my point. The plant is not using less nitrogen. It is metabolizing nitrogen better. I hope that hits home. The plant is not utilizing less nitrogen. It is metabolizing that nitrogen at a higher efficiency. Therefore, it needs less. We have written, I emphasize, we have written into our fertility programs inefficiency. My goal
100%.
is to reduce that significantly. I'm not reducing fertilizer. I am reducing inefficiency. And I want to make that point clear. We are not reducing fertilizer. We are reducing the inefficiency of the fertilizer we apply or the inadequacy of the plant that we are applying it to properly metabolize it. We are covering that base as best as we can, and we're working on ways to do it better. But I want to emphasize, because there are so many companies that say you can reduce your fertilizer by this much. How? The first question that they should ask is how. We are probably one of, oh man, I don't know anybody that knows more about this particular technology and nitrogen metabolism than we do. And we are really good at it. But I want to kill the idea of fertilizer reduction. It is nutrient efficiency that we are dealing with, and we are writing inefficiencies out of the system.